Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of Crystal Heartenings. Welcome, welcome. We're just letting people kind of come on in. You see that everything's lined up here. Welcome to day 2 of 21 days of Crystal Heartenings. We started the journey yesterday, and it was a magnificent day. So glad to be here again for number 2. As was shown in the picture before, if maybe my people on Instagram did not get to see that, but I had a picture of today's featured crystal, which is called Kyanite. So let me see if I can put that back up again. Maybe not. Thought I could do a cool little trick, but I don't think I can right now. So yes, we're going to be speaking about Kyanite today. Just checking in to see. We got about a minute or so here. See that we're letting people kind of get in. Welcome, welcome. If you're just joining, come on in and let us know where you're from, where you're at right now, where you're grounding this beautiful energy in. Let's see. Got a little bit of information coming in. Wonderful. Welcome, welcome. So I'll get started here for those that are here right now. This is day 2 of the 21 days of Crystal Heartenings. My name is Lisa Sadowski. I am the founder of an organization, a company called Life's Remission. And basically, I work with women in remission to assist them to get past their fear of recurrence. Now, typically that would sound like it would be referring specifically to cancer. I am a survivor myself, a thriver. And so at this point in my life, I know that I have gone through quite a few trials and tribulations, let's just say that to say the least. And I'm in a position where I know that I can assist people with tapping into the inner sovereignty that they are, the truth that they are, in order to reveal that that state of freedom that we all want to be in, that state of liberation and complete expression of the truth of who we are. So while I have experience with those with histories of cancer, I work with many people who are looking to get past any fear of old habits recurring in their lives, of breaking patterns that have put us into a position of perceived weakness, and moving past that and tapping into the truth of who we really are. Which brings us here to how we came to this 21 days of Crystal Heartenings. This was something, for those who are just joining today, that was brought to me by Spirit. Literally, I got about 10 days to put this together. It was an urgent request to get this out as soon as possible. I have a deep connection to crystals. I tell a little bit more of the story in day 1, so I won't take too much time here. You're welcome to go back to day 1 and get a little history on that. But when it came through, the word heartenings was very important, because it was understood that we were needing to open our heart. It's a heart opening. So every day, every crystal that we're going to be talking about is diving into an opening of the heart and different aspects of it. And some of us see that as the heart chakra. We call it the chakra. The energy centers. There's many names for this area of our physical being, and also at a soul level of what it does for us. And so each of these crystals is calling to open our hearts. And again, I talk a little bit about crystals, more about how crystals came into this in day 1. But so I'll give a little bit of an outline just for those who are just joining today, since we are at the beginning of the journey. These crystals are these record keepers. Scientifically, we refer to many of these crystals, these stones, to research history, that which was here before us. And in many times, in many scriptures that we see, these stones actually represented anything from royalty within these scriptures to where things were actually inscribed upon these stones, i.e. you could take, for example, the 10 Commandments, if you follow that teaching. And so what's happening now is these crystals are here to reflect upon us the truth of who we are. These are not deities to be worshipped. These are not stepping forward to get you to join a particular cult or anything. I'm here to let you know that I am a preacher of sovereignty, if you want to call it that. The first thing I will, and I constantly instill with people that I work with, it being beautiful beings that I work with, is tapping into their own sovereignty and remembering the truth of who we are, and unveiling every single day, more and more revealing who we were here to be. And these crystals are simply, you can see them as mirrors. And many times they're so reflective that they literally do physically reflect things, light back to us. But if we can kind of tap into them and at a deeper level, then we will see that there's more wisdom to be had there. And again, they're reminders of said wisdom. So I invite you, if you have any preconceived notions of what you believe crystals to be or not to be, or are not really interested in something like that, if you're here, there's a calling, there's a reason that you were here. And so I invite you to step in with an open mind and an open heart, and allow the energy, if nothing more than the energy of these crystals, to come through. Just a couple of kind of little details to get out of the way here. I will be using some terms that may be, for those of you who are not familiar with this realm, it may kind of be speaking over your head, or just doesn't resonate with you. Understand that's okay. That's completely okay. This was brought forth within these particular days because of a certain energetic frequency that wanted to come through this transmission. I am allowing for this to be a conduit of this wisdom to come through. And so just the energetic, the fact that you were here in this energy, you will receive what is yours to receive. And I set the intention and the sacred space of only the highest love and light to come through here. So know that this is specifically set as a space of a sanctuary for you to participate in. Excuse me. And actually feel at home with. Excuse me 1 second. Of course, I can't find my water. Give me 1 second. That was fun. Sorry about that. I needed to take a drink of water before I joined, and I forgot to grab my water bottle before I came here, so excuse me. Much better. So anyway, I ask you to step into this beautiful space with me. And I also invite your highest aspect of yourself, the part of you that is that wisdom outside that maybe you thought was outside of yourself, the aspect of yourself that on your best day reveals itself. I'm asking that, I'm calling forth that highest aspect of yourself to come forward and participate in this, and understanding that we're collectively, as even if you're on this in real time or in our now that we see on this date in time, or on the future now moment, understanding that your contribution energetically is welcome and actually contributes to a beautiful momentum of clearing and cleansing that we will be doing overall. So I will be calling forth those aspects of yourself as well, and I welcome you to participate and such. So just a review of the format of what we'll be doing today. A little similar to what we did yesterday. Yesterday, I went into a little bit more of a history of what this journey was about. So today we won't go too in depth about that, but we will be covering, let's see here, my little format here. We'll be starting off with a little bit of information about the crystal of the day, which is kyanite. This is in its raw form. This is blue kyanite. I don't know if you can kind of see that. It's pretty sparkle that's in there. And then, and there's a couple of other colors I'll get into details about as well, but that's what we'll be talking about today. So I'll get into a little bit of a history or a little bit of information about the crystal. And then I'll talk about 3 aspects that Spirit has brought through for me to kind of tap into. Higher, deeper, and wider. We want to take a higher, deeper, and wider approach when we're looking at the crystals and what they offer us and what they're here to speak to us in a certain element. And some of you who are thinking, when I say speaking to us, I'm not imagining mouths and eyes coming out of this crystals and talking to us. It's a communication at a deep, deep level that we are able to communicate with even plants and trees, and you know, you walk outside and you feel this energy of calming and soothing energy. That is a communication that is coming from the plants, from the earth, energetically. And so this is the communication that we are contemplating initiating with these crystals and connecting to. So when I say that the crystals are saying or what the crystals are communicating, you know, you don't need to envision a crystal actually speaking physically to you, which in certain circumstances, you may have that experience. What I'm referring to is an energetic communication, a level of wisdom and truth that we have access to and that these crystals are here to remind us of. So, so after we kind of talk a little bit about kyanite and what its properties are, if you will, then I'm going to go into something, we'll approach that higher, deeper, and wider approach from Spirit. And I have a couple of notes, but it sounds like some of it's going to come streaming through. So we'll see how adventurous that's going to be. And then we'll wrap it up with a quick meditation and whatever comes through at that point as well. I'm trying to keep these to a brief within an hour. Initially, my goal was a half an hour, but I can see I'm already in 15 minutes in, 13 minutes in. So we're probably looking about 45 minutes or so. I'd like to keep it under an hour, just to kind of bring you some information. But again, the goal of this is the transmission that is coming across. So speaking of which, I would like to, before we do all of this, kind of open up a circle, a sacred circle, a sacred space. While I set that sacred space and intention before I even start this broadcast, I do it a good hour to 2 hours before this, the highest of intention that's set. You being a participant in this, again, whether it be now or in the future now, your energy is appreciated and honored. And so I would like to call forth in this moment the highest aspect of yourself, the part of yourself that is the truth, the wholeness, the perfection that lies within you, the source aspect of yourself that is available to you at any given time. And I'd state this with a declaration that only the highest love and light is welcome in this sacred circle. Only the highest love and light and that which serves the greatest good is that which is allowed in this field. Anything less than the highest love and light, anything less than that which serves the greatest and highest good, shall instantly be sent back to source, raised to its highest vibration, and instantly transmuted into love. This is the beauty of the sacred circle that we set. And when we bring forth our highest aspect to ourselves, this is where we can connect with that deep wisdom at an individual level. And this is when we step in to the truth of who we really are. And even things like our life purpose can become more heightened in clarity, and more of a clarity for us as to what that means. So I thank you all for participating in this circle. And I welcome your beautiful energy, and I'm in such gratitude to all of you for so. I thank all, and I want to also send some deep gratitude out to all the avatars who have shown up. When we set this intention of this purity of intention, when we set that intention, we automatically call forth legions of angels and avatars. They have no choice but to come to our assistance, whether we ask for it or not. They are literally here to make sure that this mission is completed. And my specific intention is that it is done so with an ease and grace beyond human understanding. So know that, again, the sacred space is set, but that you are a part of it. And your infinite wisdom is integral to this entire piece. So once again, I thank you for your yes. I thank you for your time. And the crystals, thank you as well. So with that, let's get started. So we start today with kyanite. I feel like I'm a teacher or something, a geology teacher. This again, some other pictures, you see some other colors in there. There's quite a few colors of kyanite, but the ones that are most popular are this blue. And you can see kind of the darker colors in there. There's also an indigo. I have a higher rated indigo. You can kind of see a little bit more shine in there. This is a polished version of kyanite. And you can see just the quality. It gives a little bit more fire and sparkle in there for you. So, and then this is another polished, looks a little bit more rough, but you can see the intricacies and the beautiful colorations in there. Now, what we're seeing in this one is what we call the matrix, where the stone is actually taken out of the ground, and the other elements that are kind of a part of it as well. And so, to me, the raw pieces I feel very connected to. These are living. This is living energy. This is living light. When they are in the ground, they are growing just like a plant would grow. Their growth cycle is a lot longer than any plant you've ever seen. And but they are living beings, and they are acquiring the data and the intel from its environment. Reflections in the stone, things that we see are going to depend upon what time they were grown, what area they were grown in, what country they were grown in. And energetically, strictly energetically, also what the collective consciousness was over the thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years in some of these circumstances, that the wisdom that they have acquired. And so what's beautiful about these is the crystals come from the ground, at least these that are natural form, and they haven't been affected or tarnished by the confinement, can't even speak right now, the constraints of the human mind. All the perfection that we are, that highest aspect of yourself that I was speaking to, referring to previously, if we tune in to the complete and perfect wholeness that we are, this physical body cannot contain all of it. It is impossible for us to fully see all that we are in this human body. That's why a lot of people go into meditation, to tap into that, to remember who we really are. That's why when people transition into the next life, we're connected to the essence of them. We feel their presence around us, but their body's not here anymore. So how can that be? It is an energetic blueprint. The miracle that there is no other being, there is no other energy in this cosmos, from what we even know of, that can possibly duplicate you, replicate. You are irreplicatable, if that's even a word. You are so unique and such a miracle in itself that even out of the body, you maintain this essence of who you are. And it is a signature of you, and indicative of only you. Those who believe in multiple lifetimes, and attached, are kind of following that teaching, understand that, as we go from lifetime to lifetime, what is it that connects us back to each other again? Those people that feel like they've known each other all their lives, right? And it's an energetic blueprint that we are remembering to tune into, that it doesn't matter what the body looks like. It doesn't matter what form we actually come in. And so when we're looking at these truths, we can really tap into some pretty amazing wisdom. And again, these crystals have not been tarnished by the human programming that we have instilled upon a lot of the other practices that we have, even from a society standpoint, of what we imprinted upon each other. These are the principles of truth that mirror exactly what exists within us. So what these crystals are calling for us to do is just remember. They're calling to be these reflections. We are the ones who put certain restrictions upon the shininess of a crystal, establishing that as a higher value versus something that looks a little bit more rough in nature. The reality is all of it contains perfect wisdom. All of it contains perfect wholeness. And which aspects of it we actually tune into, that's up to us. That's up to our connection. But as far as the purity of these crystals and the energy that they supply, it is a perfection that we can rely on because it is part of the earth elements. So, and I don't have my black ones, but there's also a black kyanite. I don't know what I did with them. So the black kyanite actually has some of the similar structure as this, but it's a little bit more, looks more like a fan, kind of fan presentation on it. I know I pulled them out. I don't know what I did with them. And so I'll talk a little bit about the differences between these. So the colors that I mentioned, we have the blue, the indigo, kind of a darker blue that it comes in. We have, there's a green kyanite as well, and black kyanite. There's actually a newer color that's more of like an orange, a beautiful orange kyanite as well. And some of the less popular ones would be like a white, pink, yellow, and gray. But we're going to kind of stick with the blue and the black and kind of the those ones as we talk about it, just for kind of get to the point's sake. So so the green kyanite, which I do not have today, in essence, and this is something that kyanite as a whole represents to me, is the concept of balance. So kyanite by nature is a, you can take two of these beautiful polished ones, or just if you had two pieces of kyanite and you hold them in either of your hands, and you're creating a beautiful circuitry that's happening. It's a clearing energy that happens, and this is blue kyanite. But with that beautiful circulation of energy and that clearing, it's kind of, for those who follow the chakra system, it is cleaning, cleansing, and clearing, and even charging to a certain extent our chakras, our complete chakra systems, and bringing us in balance. So this is why, even though the green is more known as a balancing kyanite, I can use that for the blue, serves as that as well. The blue, however, specifically is really good for some lucid dreaming. So if you want to have some really cool dream trips, put a couple of these under your pillow and sleep with them at night, and you'll have some interesting dreams happening to you for sure. The black that I was mentioning is actually really good, as are many of the black, many of the black crystals, the tourmalines, etc., which go very well with this. They work well together with this kyanite. Helps to assist in clearing blocked energies. Again, back to the concept of clearing all the chakras. So you'll see some similarities even in the different colors. The essence of the kyanite crystal queendom, as we can call it, has these similarities in common here. It's also grounding and energizing. Now, what happens sometimes is when we have a grounding experience, Sometimes we are feeling heavy in the body. And again, if some of these terms go over your head, it's okay. Just allow it to kind of penetrate you from an energetic level. Okay. But just imagine when I'm talking about grounding, imagine your energy kind of tapping into the earth. When you have your feet in the ocean and in the sand or in the dirt, and you feel that kind of stimulation, they're literally ions that are coming through your body and clearing. There's a physical chemical reaction that happens when we touch earth elements. And so these crystals offer the same. But what's beautiful about kyanite, because again, it's working with the entire chakra system, is it will actually ground you while also allowing you, giving you an energizing experience, which makes you feel lighter and feel a kind of heightened experience. But we are completely in the body when we do this. So certain crystals give you like a buzz in the crown, or, you know, the upper area, for those who don't resonate with that terminology. So there's certain kinds that give you a little buzz, or you hold them and they feel a certain way. They're taking you a little bit out of body in that. This kyanite is a great grounder, and it actually keeps you grounded. And this is key for this time in Earth right now. This is a message that's coming through right now that's very important for the crystals to come through and express to you, is that it is important for us to tap into the grounding aspect of ourselves. For many years, whether it be a structured religion or even you know, more kind of trans-denominational experience, there's been a lot of focus on, quote, higher vibrations, higher energy, and a lot of practicing of getting out of body. Understand that we are here in this physical body specifically to bring this beautiful energy from the highest aspect of ourselves, to actually channel it. That's why they call it channeling, to channel it through our chakras, our energy centers, whatever you choose to call it, and integrate it in through our body, and then ground it into the earth. Why do we do that? We do that because collectively we are looking to raise the vibration and evolve spiritually as a collective, so that we can move forward and progress in our own evolutionary experience. So while we are responsible for our own individual expression, the collective energy can affect us, and it will make life a lot easier if we had that energetic footprint at a collective level raised higher. And so what we're looking to do, those of us who are able to tune into these things of perfection, that are able to tune into this realm that is available to us at any given moment, if we are able to do that, then we want to channel that into the body and integrate it into the earth. Well, what's been happening is we've gotten really good about going out of body. We've had a really great extent, and to the point where we even take, you know, overusage of drugs, alcohol, even sex addiction, certain, you know, things that we would not want to be repeatable, that we can be addictive, certain addictions that we have, to remove us from the joy that exists within us, that already is who we are. And when we start looking outside of ourselves, when we start looking to something else to solve our problems, when we start believing that the only way we can escape these problems in our world is to go out of body, or to have an experience outside of what we're feeling right here, then we miss out on our actual purpose. People are always asking about, what's my purpose on this earth? What am I here for? Let me break it down to you really simple. You are here to be the fullest expression of the perfection that you already are. You are here to just release all the layers that are hiding the beauty and the perfection that you are, the things that only you are here to deliver. That is your purpose. And once we get to that fullest expression, we can then contribute to the cosmos, this beautiful symphony that is being created. Our note gets included in that symphony, and then this beautiful song can be sung of human and spiritual evolution. We are here. We are all here with a powerful purpose. If you are in the physical body, you have purpose. If you are out of the physical body, you have purpose. But if you are physically here communicating with others in this realm, in this dimension and this plane and this planet that we call Earth, you have a powerful, powerful mission. And your job is to be that fullest expression of source, whether you call it God, or even if you believe that there is something out that is created and put us into this beautiful place that we are right now. Pure source energy exists within us, and all it wants to do is be expressed in its fullness and individualize itself. This is something that a beautiful teacher that I love and adore, Reverend Michael Beckwith, speaks about this all the time, about the concept of being the fullest expression, the individualization of source, of spirits, that the spirit itself. This is what it wants. You were created to be that individualized expression. And when we find ourselves trying to fit in, trying to go along with the flow, and are, a little even heartbroken that we can't actually step into this light, then it's amazing what we miss out on. We start missing out on so many more beautiful experiences in life. So when we have something like a beautiful resource like the Crystal Kingdom and the crystal realms, if we will, that are here to us, there's so many resources at our disposal. And I just want to tap into for a second and acknowledge all the avatars that, like I mentioned before, come to our assistance just by us setting this purity of intention. Oof. I'm just going to allow them to come through right now because they're really showing up right now. So just allow that to come through, that beautiful energy. And they're saying they're here to remind you of this infinite perfection and wholeness that you are. They say you have forgotten your sovereignty. And we are always here to remind you. I mentioned yesterday that as these avatars are coming through, when I say avatars, I'm referring to the highest energetic vibrational avatars, these representations that are coming through in many different forms. Some call them angels, some call them saints, some call it Yeshua, Jesus, God, Spirit. Some call it dragons. Many names for these different avatars that come forth. And the highest vibrational avatars have no choice but to step forward when we function from purity of intention. So know that they are here with us right now. And they're creating a beautiful circle of love and a remembrance. They're serving as a remembrance of the truth of who we are. So I hope you could feel that. They want me to move on. So, okay. Gets me every time. So we've covered the Kyanite, those ones in particular. Kyanite is also good for energetic healing. These are some of the things that we have known them to be. Okay, so I'm just kind of reviewing that real quick. Energetic healing, it actually creates new energetic pathways that may not have existed before. So imagine in our brains when we have certain thought patterns that we keep repeating and repeating, certain behaviors, maybe ones that we don't want to repeat so often, right? What happens in our brain is we establish these pathways, and the more and more that we repeat these negative thoughts or these negative patterns, the pathway gets wider and wider. And this is why these habits become more and more difficult to break. Instead of stopping that, because some people will say, well, we'll just stop that flow so that pattern can't repeat itself. That's not the essence of how energy works. Energy cannot be deleted or removed. It can only be transmuted. What we can do is when we focus on that which we want, When we direct our thoughts and our intentions towards the highest and greatest that we know can present itself to us, and we allow that to happen, all of a sudden these pathways that were so rich and thick that were habit forming, they naturally just shrink down, and now we create a new wider pathway in our brains where the neurons are kind of traveling through with these new thoughts that we repeat. This is why affirmation, affirmative prayer and affirmations work. It's not because we're denying what exists. It's rather because we have seen what it is. And we, instead of focusing on what we don't want, we're setting our intentions towards what we do want. These crystals serve as a reminder of what to keep our direction and our focus towards. They are simply a reminder of what we have within ourselves and where we can direct our focus so that we can allow these aspects of ourselves to reveal themselves in its purest and highest form. So it does actually assist also with negotiations. Basically, it's also really good for finding commonalities. So if you're having negotiations with a difficult group of people, this is, again, we've got a clearing of the chakras. A lot of times when I work in prayer, and if I'm praying for someone, a particular intention that I set is for them to be flooded with a deep self-love beyond what they've ever experienced before. Why is that important? That's important because when someone is full of self-love, I am not talking about vanity. I'm not talking about, just false sense of love. I'm talking about the true sense of beingness and the true sense of perfection that we are. But this love, this self-love, when someone is flooded with self-love, hate cannot exist. And when someone is flooded with self-love, stillness comes in with ease and grace. And when we are in a place of stillness, we are able to make decisions, sustainable decisions from that place. We are able to make choices in our life that lead us into towards a trajectory of that which is sustainable for us. I believe in pursuing sustainable change. And when we practice in this way, this is how we head towards that trajectory. So since the Kyanite is kind of coming through and clearing these energetic chakras, these energetic systems throughout our bodies, it would allow, in a case of like in a negotiation, for everyone to just be able to communicate more fluidly. Why would that be? That would be because now, since our chakras are in alignment, we understand that the only place that we should be speaking from is from the heart. When we're speaking from the heart, there is no conflict. When we function from the heart space, there's no room for conflict. All that's there is inclusivity. All that's there is an environment of peace, basically. And so that's how it literally assists with negotiations by finding those commonalities. And like I mentioned before, it assists in finding your unique purpose because, again, we're getting in that centered state of mind. And then, of course, because it is that blue color, it can help it to open the third eye. For those who don't know what that is, it's basically the seeing from within, the seeing with our eyes closed, seeing at a different level. And so this is again a deeper pursuit of that. So one of the things that the crystals brought through was the concept of going higher, deeper, and wider when it comes to looking at these crystals, but more importantly, the energetic blueprint. So again, the name of it is 21 Days of Crystal Heartenings. So remember that all of this is with the intention of starting with the heart and knowing that this intelligence, this wisdom starts here. So with the concept of higher, so I said higher, deeper, and wider, right? This is what Spirit brought through the crystals. The concept of higher is equated to the concept of release, that we're releasing that which does not serve us anymore so that we can evolve and expand and go to a higher realms, understanding that there is no such thing as a hierarchy when it comes to energy. Energy just is. But in our perspective, since we are in a world of duality in this human body, good, bad, right, wrong, all of this stuff, in this human experience for our purposes, they're asking us when we consider the term higher to instead maybe think of the word release and ask the question of what can be released so that more may be revealed. What is it that we can let go of, so that we can make space for more truth to come forward. And so Kyanite assists with that, again, by just clearing those chakras and getting us centered enough to see what it is that wants to be released. Instead of just ignoring it and moving past it, we're able to see it from an empowered state. We're observing it rather than being in it. And we're seeing whatever this thing is that needs to be released as something that can be transmuted versus something that is us, right? Again, all that we are is wholeness, complete truth, and love. That's who we really are. Anything else just kind of convinces us otherwise. So that's how when we're talking about the higher concept. Now, when we're referring to deeper, so higher, deeper, wider, deeper is the second one. Of course, the initial response was to the word rooted. Instead of just saying going deeper into something, we're asking to be rooted in truth, the real truth, truth with a capital T. And when what the Kyanite is actually here for, to assist us with it, what truth is calling for deeper embodiment. So literally, the Kyanite is here to assist with embodiment. This is what it does. It takes all of the energetic centers within us, brings it to a place of stillness, and then allows us to then, from our mind, at that point when we're using our mind to make decisions on this plane, it makes room for decisions to be easily coming forth. And then also, as we're making these decisions from that place of truth. And when we do this, when we root that information into our bodies, when we root this beautiful wisdom into this physical body, and then we allow it to flow all the way through our systems and actually go into the earth, and we breathe that beautiful truth into the earth. Again, we go back to the concept of assisting in the evolution. Ooh, I like that. The evolution instead of the evolution. Coming up with these cool isms. So the evolution, our spiritual evolution, our collective growth is able to happen at that level. So when we're looking from a deeper perspective, when we're being asked to go deeper from within, ask that question: what truth is calling for deeper embodiment? What truth is wanting to come forward to allow for deeper embodiment? And how can we root that into the earth? So again, that's how the Kyanite can assist us with that, is by getting us into that centered place with ease and grace. And then wider, so higher, deeper, and wider. When we pull back and experience life from the macro, the wider view, the higher, if you will, because that's what we in our minds need to see, our perspective grows. And suddenly something that looks so traumatic, or something that looks like it could never, we can't recover from it, with our blinders on and we're just looking at it. When we step back, or we look from a place of inclusion, including more into our reality, we can ask ourselves the question: what opening wants to occur in order to assist with my spiritual expansion and ascension? That's kind of a long one, and I don't want that to go over your head, so it just kind of be too much to think about. So let's kind of dig into this a little bit. Again, when we're envisioning looking at something from a wider perspective, a couple of things happen. We step into the observer role, and we are able to tap into that of ourselves, that which within ourselves, that is the observer. And if we can realize that we can step back from something, we realize that that something is not us. Okay? If we can step back and observe something that is happening, it's a term of sovereignty to understand that, because at this point, whatever it is that we're looking at is no longer a part of us. When it comes to pain, when it comes to a negative habit, or something that, when we can step outside, or if we can kind of look at it from that perspective of the observer, it no longer becomes something that is a part of it, and it no longer becomes something that we are attached to. A lot of times, part of the issue with release or letting things go is this confused mindset that it is a part of us. No one in their right mind wants to cut off their arm in order to feel better, right? So when we are stepping back from into the role of the observer, we are able to see that that is not part of us. And we're able to then also step into the other aspect of it, is we step further into the truth of who we really are. We can sit and relish in this beautiful space. When we can have that experience and still stay in the human body, this is where the magic happens. This is where cellular alterations happen. This is where self-healing occurs. When we can put ourselves in this position to step back and allow these truths to actually fully integrate into the physical body. So to where it's no longer an issue of having to go to other realms or creating heaven outside of our reality that we are right now. We understand that we bring heaven into wherever we are in that moment when we are aware enough. So when we're looking from a wider perspective, Spirit is asking us to divert our attention more towards the concept of inclusion, and asking ourselves, what opening, imagine it from the heart, what opening, maybe an opening of our minds, maybe an opening of a perspective, right? What opening wants to occur in order to assist with my spiritual expansion and ascension? And all of us, this is, like I said, this is our purpose here. This is why we are here, is to be this beautiful example of love, peace, and joy, and imprint this template, if you will, upon others. Not to tell them to act a certain way, not to even teach them any specific teachings. We are here to be the individualized expression of the perfection that exists within us. And it is unique to each of us. So when we get caught up in, being affected by what other people think, if we can be rooted in these truths and know that this is who we really are, we're no longer in fear. We're no longer functioning from a place of resistance. We're now functioning in the flow. They call it, you hear people saying, get into the flow. When we are in the flow, beautiful miracles can happen, but we can't be stagnant and in the flow. And right now, as at a collective level, there is a stagnancy that's happening. And when we sit stagnant for too long, and we sit in this place for too long, then what happens is this evolution stops. And so I think I shared a little bit of this yesterday. We have had many opportunities to look at these deep-rooted issues from a higher, deeper, and wider perspective at a collective level. We had many opportunities to look at these things and really tap into them on a regular basis. We chose not to. We collectively, I'm not talking about each individual. There are many light workers that are, or just beautiful souls that are here doing this work right now, whatever they like to call themselves, that are here with the intention of bringing forth this truth. And at the same time, as a collective, the majority has chosen not to see these things, not to see these deep-rooted issues, because it seemed like it would be too painful. The image of just even going through it seemed to be too painful. And so what's happening now is, at the same time, we're in a society that's demanding a quick fix. We want to take a pill. We want an overnight solution. We want to get, fixed right away. And I know I'm in a lot of pain, but just give me something to make me feel better. And the truth is that we've had many opportunities to see these things, allow them to come through with ease and grace and move forward, but they function at that level a little bit more slowly. We are now at the crux. We are now at a crossroads where we are still calling forth this speedy movement. We still demand this quick fix, this, one-shot wonder kind of a thing, but haven't done the work to allow this to fully integrate, embody within us. These principles have not fully integrated into us at a cellular level. So now where we are is all of these things that we have shoved under the rug are coming to the surface. Why? Because when we request for a quick fix, when we want something done tomorrow, Spirit hears us, because that's the loudest intention right now, is that a lot of people just want to get past it. I want to get past this virus or whatever it is that we're experiencing. I want to get past whatever it is. And Spirit's like, I can help you with that. It's just not going to be so pretty. I can move you as fast as you want to go, and I can slow it down as slow as you want to go. But if you're going to ask for a quick and an instant return, understand that there are steps that need to be taken so that the collective can actually move forward. We need to do this as a collective. And so we're seeing all this chaos come up, but understand that this is with the intention of the beauty that's on the other side of breaking through. We are at the cusp of a major breakthrough every single day of our lives, but collectively now it is kind of just gathered together, and we're looking to just trying to figure out how to move beyond where we are right now. And Spirit's just listening to us and answering every call. And again, we've got all these resources at our disposal, waiting and ready to step forward with us and to assist us in this transition. And still we're crying and saying that it looks horrible and it's not working. And it's like, we created this. We created this whole environment that we're in right now. And the sooner we can see that, the sooner we can acknowledge that we have control over this trajectory of where we go next. We have sovereign power and free will to move forward. It's up to us to do this. And there's work that needs to be done in order to make that happen. And what is the work? The work is tapping into that joy within you, literally tapping in and finding the joy. Your job is to be the ultimate seeker of joy. And many times in society, we are trained that seeking inner joy is this, selfish thing to do. But when in reality, it is the toughest work. Anyone who actually does this with intention and understands and taps into this deep truth, there is a lot of work to make this happen. And it takes a lot of gumption, it takes a lot of determination, and it takes a heck of a lot of faith to move forward with this intention. So as we are going through this as a collective, I suggest that we kind of lock arms with nothing more but the intention of stepping into truth that we are, and being that emanation, being that example of truth, so that others that are in our field have no option but to experience the essence of who we are, to be changed and affected by the energy of who we are. When we do that, when we focus from that place, when we are confused and we don't know what to do, but we hone in on the truth of who we are and we focus as that our primary intention, things fall into place. But we're not going to have a perfect plan for it. It's probably not going to be exactly what we wanted, because what is probable and possible for all of us cannot be contained, like I mentioned, inside the confines of this mind. So if we're trying to create from this space, we're limiting ourselves. So the beauty of embodiment, the beauty that Kyanite can assist us with, is tapping into that higher intelligence, if we want to call it, use that term, tap into this beautiful realm that exists outside of within us at every aspect. Tap into that, bring it and channel it in through our beingness, our persons, and allow that to flow through. At that point, truth and miracles will happen. So I think I'm going to stop there, because I'm telling you, there's been so much information that's wanted to come through. And I'm really doing my best to keep it within this time frame and honor your commitment. So what I would like to do is, I'm hoping that served you, and I'm hoping that you have something in there that you can, these questions alone, the higher, deeper, and wider. I would take those questions, if you didn't get a chance to write them down, I'll have them up every single day for this next journey, to just kind of go deeper with or without the crystals, and just ask yourself those questions, and see what comes up, and ask your guides, your avatars, those that you follow, that guides your life. Ask them to guide you for answers to these questions. And I'd love to hear what you get, because this is it's a new line of questioning for me. Of course, we've seen these questions before, but in relation to the crystals, even ask the guides which crystals you might be better served with, might connect to you. As I'm giving you this information of what these crystals can do, you may hold one and have a completely different experience. Know that that is true. Know that that is what was meant for you. Know that the only thing that they're really asking for is to connect with them, is to tune in, to go deeper. They're not asking you to worship them. They're not asking you to say that they are anything other than a beautiful, perfect example of nature's grace and just unrelentless, and yet a relentless and abundance. Like, to think of how much of this is in the ground and the beautiful energy that exists within it. We are in an abundant universe, and we are on an abundant planet. It seems like our resources are limited, but know that we live in a field of abundance if we choose to see it as such. So with that, I will close out with our meditation. And so I ask you to just sit for a minute. I won't go too deep into how to get in touch with me, because I think afterwards you all might want to chill out a little bit. So at the bottom there, you'll see some ways to get a hold of me: lifesremission.com, the 21 Days of Heartenings Facebook group. But for most of these, the Facebook, YouTube, I do put most of my links in the bios. So if you need to get in touch with me, though, if you're on any of these platforms, go ahead and message me, and I'll answer as many questions as I can. So if we can just sit and tap in, again, within that highest aspect of ourselves. And take a deep breath in. And release all that does not exist, does not serve us. Take another deep inhale. And release all that is not love. Release all that is not peace. All that we are breathing in is the wholeness, the perfection, the infinite beauty that lies within each of us. Today, as we speak of the beautiful energy called Kyanite, and all the avatars who have inscribed beautiful wisdom into these stones, into this frequency, and want for us to know this ancient wisdom, so that we can also know the wisdom that will be necessary to catapult us into the next iteration of our lives. These are deep and profound record keepers, libraries of light, emanating from a place of purity of intention beyond your wildest imaginings. Sacred and true. And right now, I ask you to imagine a vortex of energy, beautiful light, coming down through the top of our heads, the chakras up above our heads, if you choose to see it as such. Coming all the way down into the heart. It's gaining beautiful momentum. And in this moment, The other half of this vortex is aimed downwards and expanding below as well. In the middle of these two vortexes, the heart and what might be called by some the solar plexus are coming together to form a beautiful ball of golden and rainbow light. And it's gaining momentum, and it is just growing. At the center of our beingness, we are master creators. You are a master creator, a master manifester. And when we manifest from this place, when the solar plexus and the heart are connected in this way, and this alchemy, this alchemical creation gains momentum, you can feel a warmth from within that is soothing all around it. And if you can sense deep enough, you might actually feel like you're breathing through your heart. Let the lungs take some time off. They've had a lot of struggle. They've been under a little bit of an attack with some of the things that have come on. The concept of breathing sometimes feels heavy. So allow the heart to be that breath of life. And allow it to embrace all that is around it with a beautiful love, so far outside of your wildest imaginings. A peace, feel into that peace as the higher heart comes in and reminds us of that beautiful peace. And now, as we realize that we have this beautiful ball of energy within the center of us, and this vortex shooting up and vortex shooting down, we realize that this is a quasar, this is a star being created. And it is just bursting with energy, ready to share its light across the cosmos and affect everything in its wake in such a beautiful way. And now that we're fully integrated with this beautiful quasar, we can allow it to emanate and spread outside of our physical field, our physical bodies, and send it to our closest loved ones. Send this field of empowered love and peace to those who may not be feeling this right now. And now send it out throughout your city. This is how powerful of a being you are. You can send this energy out beyond your home, the city, the county, the state, your country, continent, entire planet. To our solar system, to our galaxies, Our energy, the wave of what we are creating here, is expanding so high, deep, and wide that is impressing upon the entire cosmos. You are a sovereign being of love. This is who you are. Float in that energy of liberation, float in that energy of peace, and feel the reward of physical healing that comes back to you for your purity of intention. You may even see the legions that are reveling in this beautiful intention and are celebrating you. They're so pleased. And as we tap into what this means to our bodies, we are called to come back. We are called to ground all this beautiful energy that we have created into Gaia, into Earth. And thank her for her never-ending gifts that she has provided for us. Constantly giving, no matter what we do. Send her this beautiful energy deep into the earth. And recognize the beautiful circuitry that we've created with the cosmos, everything around us, and rooting into this earth and raising it to the highest vibration. Feel into the collective that has just been lifted by this beautiful heartening. And come back into your body in gratitude for all the avatars who have assisted on this journey. Thank them as they sit and thank you for your intention. Whenever you're ready, allow yourself to come fully back into your body. Open your eyes if you had them closed, and maybe move your fingers slowly, your toes. Feeling that groundedness. And welcome back. Welcome back. I thank you all for your time tonight. And again, I send the deepest gratitude to all of the beautiful avatars who have been here to assist us tonight. To the crystals, to tonight, to our beautiful Kyanite. It had so much to say. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow for day 3 of the 21 days of crystal heartenings. Love to hear from you. So if you had any experiences, if you had some visions, if you had any experiences you'd like to share with me, please direct message me or send me a message on this in the comments. For those who are joining afterwards, I thank you, and know that you too are receiving the full energy of this transmission. Peace and blessings to you all. Good night.